This is a book review of Prison Ship by Bruce Jones and Esteban Maroto. Now it's from IDW, came out in 2018, and it's about 103 pages, and it's all in black and white. So if you're not into black and white books, you probably want to look away at this point. So I'm just going to go through this book. Now, this was originally first published in 1980s. So I'm certain it was probably created about 1980, but it was 1981, and I'm going to show you the original comic as well. I've got one issue of it, and I will show you that, showcasing the beautiful black and white art of renowned Spanish artist Esteban Maroto. And Faye has been assigned to what should be a very easy mission. So she's on this ship, and it's going along, and she's got a group, I think it's about 7, criminals in suspended animation, variety of things that they've done, but she's her ship is then struck by a meteor. The plague-stricken, I'm not certain, there's a bit of reference to plague-stricken, but not all of them, I don't think are. But anyway, the prisoners escape, and Faye must head off to capture them off a variety of different planets. She meets various aliens, etc. I'll go over the book in a sec. It's a great book, so I will go through that. I want to show you the original issue, 1994. Love these issues. Warren Publishing, creepy, Vampirella, eerie, Rook, etc. Just great. Love that period. Now, I don't think there's archive editions of 1994. There might be. I'm not certain of those. I've got a number of these issues, but I've only got one of the ones with this story. And it's the first issue. Diana Jacklighter, Manhuntress. Complete change of name. She's called Faye in the book. They changed it quite. Alabaster Red Zone is the writer in this, author. No, Bruce Jones should have been there, but anyway, they've changed loads and loads of it. So it's just literally, really just gone through the whole thing. And I was just comparing. It's just amazing how much they've changed. It's just so many. I mean, there's a scene I'm just going to go to, and the leader of a murder torture cult, which I spoke of. His name is Luther Warfield. Punishment is life imprisonment with no hope of parole. Too bad. I was hoping he was just a rapist. What an expression. However, this is on to the next one. It goes on, and there's a number of other bits in this that are so different. And she's basically looking at porno flicks. Oh, you handsome bucket of bolts. That porn flick that last night has got me feeling randy as hell. Well, the artwork seems to be much the same. Apparently there was a difference, and though I couldn't see it in this, but however, it mentions it in here, which I'm just going to go through. So, Prison Ship. Now, there's one thing I always think with white, the trouble is always that you end up starting noticing finger marks where, but anyway. It's a nice glossy paper, and it's a decent quality paper, and the reproduction is much better than my original comics, which obviously are very brown. Now, I don't know how they've done this, where they've had the original, obviously, photostats, prints, whatever, that they could go from, or they've just cleaned it up. Apparently, they haven't got the original art, which would have been lovely, because I think it would have been even more sort of superb quality. That's one good thing with IDW, especially their artist editions. I love those artist editions. However, it's got an introduction, and I think all books should have an introduction, personally. So this is a great introduction by Esteban Maroto. And he mentions about the history of it. Obviously, it's after publishing 2 chapters, Warren decided to sell the publishing house to Harris Publications. It says here. Complicated business, blah, blah, blah. And also many of the originals are drawn for Warren and disappeared. So it's many of them. So I assume that some must have survived. People of Harris told me that they've been burned. But they changed the name to Diane Jacklighter, which is very odd. And another one of my characters spoke for a penis they added to the drawings to float around her. I must admit, I didn't see the penis bit, but however. Now, the bit where I just mentioned about the bit about the rapist. So odd, when you look at this, all she says is, "I'm just a robot attendant, Miss Faye." That's what she says there. She doesn't just lean over. And also bits here, just a lot more mention about all the various, what she had done. There's no mention about that she killed everyone on the planet, etc. Just a whole complete rewrite of all the, very odd. Why? Anyway, now I don't know if, again, the history of the writing, obviously the artwork, but I mean, at the end of the day, you can do, of course, you've got the things, you can do what you want. You can, if you want to, with any story, you can rewrite all the dialogue. If you can get rid of, obviously, the word balloons, just put some more in, different text. You can virtually change the story if you want to. However, just great artwork. Let's go to the artwork more than the oddity. The story itself, I love the story. The story is, of course, nonsensical because there's this warden on this ship. Why would you have some 7 super terrorists or super troublemakers, super whatever they were, on a ship, and you've got one person and a robot attendant? Really? I think that's a bit risky. However, and especially a person that's obviously not clearly super trained up to be able to handle all these things. I mean, she obviously goes and fights on these planets because she goes down to these planets to capture them again or kill them in most cases. They obviously don't want to be captured. And there's lots of twists and turns to stop what happens. And there's a big twist and turn about 2/3 of the way through, which was good. I thought it was real nice sort of change of story. And it's Faye, you don't learn much about Faye. She just basically sits around watching soap operas. She's sort of obviously put into a situation where clearly where the ship is hit, she has to struggle back to health again, and she's obviously got some injuries. I love this design. I always love the weird way that Esteban Maroto always loved this sort of doing the eye, around the eye, to make up around the eyes. Just always, don't know, it always gives that sort of exotic sort of look. To me, I just love that. And even now, whenever I get books about it, I think, oh, that's ridiculous. Anyway. However, she goes down to this planet, and I think the artwork, like I say, throughout is superb. And she's does some absolutely stupid things, just doing things that you just think, really? You go down to a planet, you leave your ship easily exposed, where when you're asking for trouble. But anyway, we got some obviously aliens on the planet as well. So none of these planets, some of them are actually, and some of the life forms are pretty bad. So it's the artwork is superb, though, all the way through. Just beautiful. I love this sort of beautiful scene there. And this is the thing I love about Esteban Maroto. Just his art is just awesome artwork. But don't want to spoil the story, because the story is, I thought, just brilliant, just all the way through. Even though you can see flaws all the way through it and all those sorts of things, but it's just a really basic, simple space opera yarn. Wow, thoroughly enjoyable. And it's 103 pages, great art, great story, and totally recommended. I'm really looking forward to the next volume from good old Esteban Maroto, which is hopefully, because of obviously with all the problems recently, will be Vlad the Impaler. Really can't wait for that to come out. Of course, there's a number of other works, of course, that Red Sonja, that was superb. I love that, with Roy Thomas. Brilliant. Also, of course, is Dracula. You want a brilliant volume of artwork. Dracula, it's brought out by Warren, and also there is also an English version from Nell, and that's just superb as well. And also there's the individual comics that was Dracula. And of course, there's Satana and many, many other brilliant artwork pieces by Esteban Maroto. I suppose even the Spanish ones. I don't really know. Now, I would love to see dynamic comics, dynamic entertainment, what you want to call them, to bring out an art of Esteban Maroto. They bring out lots of these ones. Or even IDW would be superb. Bring out one of those. Massive 300-page volume of his artwork. I would be buying that in an instant. And this is just great, but of course, more to come, hopefully. I'm really looking forward to that other book. Prison Ship, totally recommended. And also, of course, the original as well in a slightly odder way because of the changes. Most odd. I have to look out for issue 21, etc. like that.